What is up, Earthlings? I should have cleared my throat. Excuse me before I started this. Alrighty. I'm going to pull some cards. Zube here, by the way. If you're interested in a personal reading, my information is down below. How is everyone doing? Oh, look. Why'd that happen? Five of Cups. Whenever they hang out in the box, I always figure they want special attention. The Five of Cups is it's crying over, look, these cups have spilled and there's some blood in the cups, right? Cups are emotional. So there's something that we might be mourning. And for some reason, like blood is spilled. So it might have been something, pretty fucking serious. Okay. However, there's two cups behind him that are still standing. So while it's appropriate to be sad and to mourn things, it's also important to be in gratitude. Just because I learned so many things in rehab, but when I was in rehab, there was this humongous poster. And it said, what did it say? It said something like an attitude of gratitude. And I remember sometimes I would be having a rough day and I'd be like, fuck that sign. Then I would laugh at how awful I was. And for some reason it turned things around for me. Being grateful. I don't know, maybe even be grateful for your sarcastic wit and humor. That's a survival tactic. It's one I employ, but I'm rather careful about it now. Because it can be, I don't do self-deprecation anymore, maybe a little bit, but not so much, because I feel like my words have power. And so I don't say negative things about myself sarcastically anymore, because I think that like echoes out and might come back at me, especially if I say it with actually meaning it, so I don't use that kind of sarcasm. Dark humor is a different story. If I think of an example, I'll let you know, but yep, that's exactly what I was saying. Queen of Wands. Wands is fire. Fire is a creative energy. It's spirit, it's passion, it's heart. So when you're saying shit, whether it's good shit or bad shit, you're creating it, when I was just really quick, I think I've told this story before, but when I was driving back from Texas with my cat, I had no idea if Zeke would like it or not. And honestly, if he didn't like my cat in his house, and he's an OCD neat freak, but if he didn't like my cat in his house, I didn't think our relationship was going to work, because I'd have to be in, the cat had to be with me. Right. And I stay here for weeks, sometimes months at a time. So while I was driving up, I had called a friend and I was crying. I was like, if this doesn't work, we're going to have to break up and blah, blah, blah. I'm really thirsty today. Anyway, she goes, do that funny thing that you do with the universe. And I do this pretty regularly, where if I want something to happen, I'll talk about it and I'll be so grateful for it and so thankful for it that I've created this situation where I am in this exact thing that I'm grateful to the universe for. I can feel it in my heart. I can feel it all around me. I laugh. And I did that for about 10 minutes while I was driving with regard to Zeke loving my cat. And it's been over a year now, and he adores my cat. It's not even my cat anymore. I mean, it is, but he says it's not. So anyway, but yeah, so if you're like, oh, well, just making crude comments about yourself, watch out. Well. Now I know what I'm going to talk about. King of Wands. So we have a divine counterpart. Really interesting because we have, I had touched on this. So we have Venus in Capricorn, and she is, she's at 20 degrees. Pluto's at 25. So she's within 5 degrees. Usually I really count it when it's 3 degrees, but still we might be feeling some pressure on our relationships. And this doesn't matter, whatever, same sex, any kind of relationship, actually, even friendships and stuff. But, you know, because we got the divine counterparts, it could be like a couple relationship. But Venus is going to be retrograding. She's going to go up and meet up with Pluto. So they're going to be conjunct, right? Pluto is a planet that wants to ask the penetrating questions of usually power and control, subconscious beliefs or limiting beliefs. It wants to pull out and expose anything about anything that is rotting or doesn't have a good foundation, or needs deeper investigation. And Venus is relationships. Also, being in Capricorn, it's our work, it's our money, and it's how our relationships work, right? Like, how much do they perform? And so she's going to meet up with Pluto, pick up this like change energy. It's almost, Pluto can be like explosive. Pluto is not easy energy. And then she'll retrograde. She's going to go into retrograde, and that's not easy either. So when Venus is retrograding, we are reviewing all of our relationships. And, you know, I saw one time, it was a monk, and he was talking about how at the end of every year, he made a list of people. And he was like, this might sound really crude, but you budget your money, right? But we act like we have unlimited energy, and we really don't. Like, unlimited resources within us to keep going and giving, and we don't. And so the tendency is to give and give and give until we're depleted. But are we giving enough to ourselves? Now, some people like take and but he literally made a list of the people who were predominantly in his life that year and weighed out the give and take of his internal resources, and made a decision on who to continue fostering relationships and stuff like that. And he's like, you know, you can't spend more money than you have. I mean, I suppose you could have credit cards and all of that, but at some point you have to be like, there's no more, you know, and we don't really, not many of us do that with our energetic resources. So that's what I think we're going to be looking at, especially with Venus having a little conversation with Pluto and then going back into retrograde and reviewing all of our relationships. And then she'll come out of retrograde and meet up with Pluto again. And I think that'll be kind of like a final cut sort of thing. All of this is going to happen over the course of, she comes out of retrograde, I think in February. You know what? I'm going to look, I'm going to actually pause it for a second so I don't make this too long. Okay, so she is going to go into retrograde on December 18th, and then she will come out of retrograde on January 26th, which means she will stop her retrograde. And then she'll be in the retrograded area. She'll be direct, but in the retrograded area up until like March 1st, where she'll meet up with Pluto again. So this is going to be a deep review of all of our relationships, our finances. There might be glitches, there might be setbacks. If you have a partner, be prepared for maybe some discussion specifically around money to come up. This is going to be in a different area of everyone's chart, obviously. So be on the lookout for that. Another thing that you can kind of look at is in 2013 in December, she retrograded the same area. So you might have themes that come up again. And that was 8 years ago. And then 8 years prior to that. So that would be, I'm really not good at the maths. 21. So 2013. So that was 8. Okay. So in 2005, December of 2005, if you happen to recall anything that might have been going on at that time, then be on the lookout for that too. Let's see. Let me pull a couple of cards on this King and Queen of Wands and see what comes up with that. Three of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. So the first thing that you think of when you see a 3 and you're kind of pulling on relationships, whether it's the 3 of Cups or 3 of Swords or 3 of Pentacles or 3 of Wands, is third party interference. Okay. So that doesn't have to be like somebody's cheating or an affair or anything like that. It could just be that somebody is interfering in your relationship or something is interfering in your relationship. So that's the downside of that card. Sorry, buddy, my foot's falling asleep. That's the downside of that card. The upside of this card is working together. So it's like a card of co-creating with other people, and the Pentacles are an earth sign. So that's co-creating something that we're doing with our hands, right? I'm gonna pull just a couple more, see what kind of things might come up. Of the Queen of Swords. Yeah, that this could be the third person interfering. The Queen of Swords is decisive. She is logical. She's still a queen, so there's still that feminine property of being receptive to what she hears. It's thinking clearly. It's let me see what kind of air stuff do we have going on? It's cutting. She's holding a big ass sword. This is drawing boundaries, cutting people out. That's what it is. But still being receptive to hearing other people's side of things, right? And having that emotional connectedness to people. But no, she is the most masculine of the 4 queens. I'm gonna pull one more. Okay. Wow. That's overwhelm. That's thinking too much. The swords are our thoughts, communication. I think this retrograde is going to be kind of tough. We're also going to have right around Christmas time. Saturn and Uranus are going to square exactly. So I think it's December 23rd. But yeah, so we've got the potential for co-creating. I mean, here's what I love is that it was the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands that came out. So the wands are heart, passion. It is creativity. I always think of them as kind of the law of attraction counterpart. They are the only court cards, like the King and Queen. They're 2 of only 3 cards in the tarot that have a familiar, which gives them sort of a magical quality, like a witchy warlock sort of quality. But he's got the little lizard and she has a black cat. So, there is potential for magic, right? And that's Pluto, but Pluto is going to kick ass and not take names. He's going to destroy anything that is not working so that it can be rebuilt from the ground up. Let me do some oracles. One way to go about it. Is this cat gonna fall? Probably not even that funny, but it's funny to me. All right. Over the next couple of days, though, yeah, the moon is going to be going through a rough time. The moon is today it squared Venus and Pluto. Tomorrow it'll head into Scorpio, and then it'll square Saturn. We're looking at a bunch of squares with the moon. But their moon transits are quick, right? Battle of the Blues. Take steps toward positive change. Because none of these cards, I'm looking for the hopeful one. Where's the hopeful card? Take steps towards positive change is what it says, though. Like, we are going to have to be proactive about creating the world that we want and the relationships that we want, so that we can manage any difficulties that might arise. Look, there's a sword here too. I don't know if you can see that. So we have the Ten of Swords. That's just I mean, look, the guy's being stabbed in the back. People might show their true colors as well, right? So, you might find that you're disappointed in people, because Pluto is going to be doing this to their charts too. And so everybody might be feeling kind of raw and exposed, and that doesn't always bring out the best in people. Guidance. Find safety in your beacon's light. That's staying present here with you, connecting to your own light, creating a healthy boundary around you, creating a healthy boundary around your relationship. And it's preserving your energy for you, I mean, when it comes down to it, unless you have kids, it's like, obviously be, cognizant of what I'm saying and what I'm not saying, but you're not responsible for anybody else's feelings, any grown adult anyway. Determination. Don't be afraid of the rising tide. It will soon recede. Maybe your true colors are badass. Be prepared, and stand up for yourself, but also listen. That's the thing about the Queen of Swords, is that she does listen, and she is receptive. She's just very logical. And that's kind of Venus and Capricorn, like with regard to our relationships. It's like, nah, sorry, not doing it for me. Like, sometimes astrologers joke that if a chick has Venus in Capricorn, she's going to be like, oh no, you don't make enough money. Don't even look at me. I don't totally go by those stereotypes, but some of them are funny and they're there for a reason. I'm going to do a meme card. Oh, whoa, whoa. When you called shotgun, but the back seat ends up being way more lit. Yeah. You're going to be set. You're going to be reviewing decisions that you've made, right? And figuring out if it's time to dial back, change course. Is there looking for something better, right? Are there ways to maybe take a couple of steps back that'll improve your life, even though it might be a pain in the ass in the short term? It'd be beneficial in the long term. When you throw yourself a birthday party and only your mom shows up, shut the fuck up. Who is important? They will show up for you, and in the same token, if you don't want to show up for somebody, don't fucking show up for them, right? Like if they have a birthday party and only their mom shows up, maybe, just maybe it's because they're being a douche and Pluto wants them to know that they're being a douche. And then Venus will hightail it back in her retrograde and be like, all right, man, why did only your mom come to your birthday party? We got to reassess because this relationship shit we're doing is not working. Don't show up for people who don't show up for you. Okay. And don't feel bad about it. There is a way to be strong and to preserve your own energy and not be an asshole. Because sometimes, like people don't even intend to be like siphoning off of you, but it ends up happening. So I think I think, I don't know, like the astrology does look a little gloomy for around Christmas time. And I don't always say that, actually. I'm pretty positive thinking when it comes to this stuff, but it looks kind of rough, and take care of you. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about when I came on here. Apparently this was it. And I'm going to go hang out with my cat now, right? Say hi. No, I can't do it. Anyway, I hope you have a great few days on Earth. I'm loving doing these random things. I think I'm going to keep doing them that way. I'll see you soon. Peace. Namaste.